All right, my friends, here we are at the famous grad show. And today we are doing 1,000 plus. I kind of like the tradition I have of starting at the top and working my way down. These people at the top, man, it is hard. It is hard to graduate. The higher you go, the harder it becomes. It's just the brutality of it, you know? And Pablo here, graduating already twice to get to 1900, that's a real thing. He's a little bit surprised himself that he has graduated. Thus, let's go take a look at Pablo. Okay, so Pablo's over here. You can see he's got a great heat map. And I'd like to believe, anyway, that this 2 graduations that he's got has everything to do with being committed simply to the heat map. And you can see he's mostly been doing tactics. We'll maybe take a look at which tactics he's doing. How come I've just having a real trouble with my camera here. It's just like bows, bows. Maybe I can do a trick. Is that a trick? That's kind of a trick. I kind of tricky-wickied it there. Okay, great. Alex, hello, man. Oh, I had a great bench session yesterday, buddy. I was feeling terrible, and I'd had that awful bench session before. But I swear, Alex, it was because I had a terrible one. I wasn't feeling strong, but I pushed through it, and that gave me the strength to PR yesterday, my friend. 5 by 5. Religion. Now, Pablo's tactics ain't looking too good, at least not on our tests. He hasn't really done all of them. And so, actually, it's interesting because Pablo's been doing all these tactics, but but maybe he's got a tactical problem. One of the cool things that we are about to institute, by the way, is when somebody has a tactics rating that is above their cohort, then we're going to give them a little tactics badge. And that's also not just for them, but even for me. When I go look at the graduate show, I can then see what they got, right? Okay, so let's go look, actually, activity first. I want to see what these tactics are. We're going to give it a click, bang, and yeah, he's been crushing the mate in twos. So we should hope that on those tactics tests, he should be able to crush those mate in twos. Okay, so that's mostly what he's doing. Let's go see if he's got some games for us. Pablo's got a game. This was a while back, and I have a feeling I've already reviewed this, though, so let's go in here. Yeah. Oh, wait a second. Okay. No, I don't think I have done this. It's weird because I know he graduated recently, but so you would think I would have covered it on the last show, or maybe Kostya did, and then he forgot. In any case, I feel like my Spanish rating, my Spanish rating used to be about a solid 1050, and now, which, it might not sound like much, but 1050, dude, 1050, that's not no chump change. Now, though, disrepair, my Spanish, I'm going to say, is about, 650, 700, something like that. All right, but let's get into it. So, he's got to want to calculate a little bit more. He wants to continue playing with concentration. Okay, great. Let's get into it, Pablo. Oh, first, let's go take a look at ye old time graph. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, now, to be fair, this game is ridiculously short, but still, my friends, right? Oh, my. Now, one of the things, it's interesting. I'm sure this was played online. You can tell by the names, right? One of the things we saw in this video I did about analyzing the clock times in online versus ODB is stronger players, such as Pablo and his opponent here, are still victims of the online environment, which is so distracting. Okay, let's go back. So, game review. Get a little scotch opening here. Knight c6 is usually played. I'm sure that's playable. Okay. And now this is terrible, a6, and this guy plays it in 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. So I think queen f6 might also be playable. So this is absolutely awful. And now knight d5 comes. Can't be bad. Queen g4. That looks good to me. g6. And this is what happens when you don't develop your coconuts. This is what it's going to look like. Good move. And now you talk about queen f4. Yeah. So f6 now, right, we should actually, we should definitely consider this the critical position. He does spend 4 minutes here. And he talks about queen f4, fg5. Okay, let's do his variation. It's interesting. So queen f4. So we're threatening knight takes f6, so d6 won't work. Check to the miserable king. Check to the miserable king. And then, let's say check, snip. And I think what he's saying is I don't see how I can clearly get the knight out. However, it's going to take a while for him to get his pieces out. So I would say this is definitely winning. And another way of looking at it would be, well, actually, I want to take it back. So queen g3 is not as good because then he could just play d6. So I think he's absolutely right to calculate queen f4. Let's do it one more time. fg, snip. So we get a pawn. Queen. Now, actually, if I was nervous about anything here, it would be king d6. But I think on king d6, I'll have queen g3, and it'll be very powerful. King f8. And then, again, I would want to take this thing. Maybe I have better than that. So let's think about it. It's very interesting. So this knight, I think, needs to come here to take this square away. But we then have bishop c4 to whack it. If our knight gets out, that's it. Yeah, so I don't know. It looks winning to me. It looks winning to me. Okay, so bishop d2. Your position, of course, is still amazing. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to complain. f4. Knight g4. And then he says, triste, triste. Now let me, let me just say, buddy, so here's where you're dying. It's all about time management and concentration. So here with f4, I feel like you're not sufficiently thinking about what's going on. Castles is another alternative. Makes a lot of sense. Okay. Now, one of the hilarious things is that I don't think you should resign here. Yes, the milk has gone bad, but the position is not very simple for black. No. Now, they do get to play c6, and that's definitely a bummer, but we have long-term compensation. We're not going to resign here. Okay, so, oh, you guys, that was painful. All right, Pablo, so we go back here. You're doing great. I think tactics might actually be a problem for you. Oh, Kraai, you were supposed to do the beta here. Hold on. Hold on. So, oh, Christ. Hold on. Let's go. Just give me a momentito. I thought I was ready, and I thought I was automatically logged in, but it's hard. It's hard for an old guy. All right, here we go. I always have to find it. And all this stuff. There it is. Boom. We're going to get the beta going over here. And boop. Boop. I sign in. Beautiful. All right. So this is going to be mine. We will keep, though, we will use this layout for the rest of the business here. And this is, we don't want dojo points, we want hours worked. Okay, great. So we're going to move on. And next up, oh, actually, incorrect. Don't use this one. We're going to go news feed, graduations, the one from yesterday. And now let's continue. Next up is Thad. Thad says, I have had the goal of reaching 1,800 USCF, not an easy goal. Have almost reached it. In my last OTB, I earned my first category norm by having 3 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw versus Class A players, raising my rating from 1670 to 1796. That's great. My natural style is intuitive positional play. My most significant focus the last few years has been improving my calculation, making fewer calculation errors. I'm also finding more candidate moves and choosing moves with more balance between calculation and intuition. I have also improved my ability to use dynamic advantages. Now, Pablo, Thad's coming for you. I want you to see this. And what you should take away is when you play those online games, it's so easy to be distracted. And so it's possible to improve in the online space, but you have to be able to attain concentration. If you're playing online, definitely set up a real board. If you're playing online, you really want to take it seriously. Get one of those Evo electric boards, and make sure there's no online chitter chatter happening at you. I can't even, honestly, I just play OTB. I can't even imagine, but I know that there are strategies to not get distracted. Whereas Thad here, he's pursuing some real stuff. And we'll see. I think it's going to be a noticeably different kind of game that we look at with that. Okay, here we go. This is Thad. Thad has not knocked out too many hours worked over here, but he has flown up with USC. If we're going to give him a follow here. Okay, so he did some endgame way back in the day. He did one checkmate test and failed. That means that he just basically died. He saw that test and was like, Chess Dojo, I can't even do it, buddy. Okay, Thad, you're not giving us a lot of information here, bud. If I go activity, what am I going to see? So it's weird. He's done a lot of stuff, but it hasn't been recently. Maybe if I go dojo points, maybe he isn't logging. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit weird. Okay, so yeah, he's not. This is what we're seeing is Thad is not really logging his business here. All right, games, nothing. So Thad, bud, you're welcome to the dojo. Use the site, man. Use the site. Yeah. Now, actually, what we got to say, though, is what he did he was very active the last week. So here you can see we got this beautiful new thing. And all I have to do, if I see a check mark, like here, he did 0. He's basically been inactive. But here, yeah, he played some games. Presumably that was his tournament here, and did a bunch of opening prep. So he did 44 hours. When you play a weekend tournament, you're going to get a lot of hours in. Okay, so I'm hoping, Thad, that you get it together to give us some game review and start entering your business more religiously. It definitely will benefit you. As you see, this is a beta. We're going to have this coming out soon. And you will be able to determine how much per week you want to do. And that will be like whether you get the little green check mark or not. Right. Okay, so that was that. Let's keep on going. This is Era Satori. Era Satori says, I am enjoying and benefit from having a structured program. It simplifies the decisions of what and how to learn, allowing me to be more efficient and avoid wasting time on things I enjoy, but that do not contribute whatsoever to my learning. I need to be more consistent. 2 to 3 hours per week on top of what I am now doing now would go a long way, and it is realistic. Currently, I just do a bit of tactics, my weakest point, and opening preparation before tournaments. So I guess I'm still prioritizing what I enjoy, which is playing tournaments. Okay, yeah. You know, if you were going to add something to that mix, it would be reviewing your games. That's what it would be. All right. And if you just follow the program, that would be even better. All right, so here we go. 36 years old, playing online in 21, and then hit a plateau of 1,700, focusing now on OTB Classical. Great. Let's give this dude a follow here. Yeah. So he's doing great. You can see he's done more tactics than anything else. This suggests he has not done any game annotations. And the tactics rating, 1523, a little bit low than what we would want him to have, right? A little bit low. All right. Okay, but this heat map looks pretty good. Now, it says a bunch of games in now, so that's probably tournaments that he's doing. Yeah. All right, let's see clubs. European, great. And then I have a feeling some of these might be they might be games that are, 5-round OTB, genius. Let's see, do we have any times? We do. Let's check it out. Beautiful. Now, this is only a 25-move game, but, well, we'll see. We might come back to this to see if we criticize Black's use of time. All right, so here we go. We're going to go game review. All right, boom. Weird, but I've done this too. Fine. 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 And he says, I know this is a move, but I have never faced it. And, you know, there's this little sign here. It's pretty cool. We created that. It says, I am out of book. Now, his opponent is also out of book because they tank for 530. Now, this is an opening I have played in the past. And to me, it's a perfect example of what we call a hyper-modern opening. And that is just an opening where we are trying to control the center, fight for the center from the sides, not make a lot of pawn moves, quick development. Yeah. Now, my sense of this position, if I remember right, was either knight f6 now or ed, and then a very quick castles and rook e8. Okay, but Black goes crazy with f5, and that's a hell of a move, boss. I mean, maybe. I do know that f5 would be kind of hard to meet on a practical level. His opponent plays bishop d2. I don't know what Black's intentions are here after ef, though. All right, bishop d2. Spicy. I'm not thrilled. Preparing for some captures and defending the bishop against the knight moves. That might be okay. Queen e2, that's not okay. He's blocking in his bishop. Fe4, good move. Now his center is collapsing, and that's a horrendous move because knight f6. Wait, why aren't we playing knight f6, Baus? Baus, why aren't we gaining that lovely, lovely tempo? I guess we're winning a pawn. Okay, I take it back. It's fine. So now we're up a pawn, and it's very nice. Castles, okay, fine. Now let me just say, this castles makes me nervous because you are allowing your opponent to play CD followed by bishop c4 after castles, right? So they blow it right away and play a3. But if they had just played CD, it's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying. And you imagine here, I don't like it that much. And, you know, maybe snip and snop, and then he castles long, and they got a little bit of development, a little development jump. Okay, so that's just something that he should have paid attention to. And instead, they tank for 11 minutes here. By the way, good job keeping the time. A3 can't be it because that's a loss of time. So pop, pop, good move, good move, good move. Oh, very nice, very nice. And he says he's surprised by castles, but already white's in a very bad way. This is just going to be the most glorious pawn chain we've ever seen. I mean, it's going to be a hammer. All right, boom. And now bishop a6. I really don't like this move. Let me explain. This bishop is stunning. This bishop is honestly a victim to one of our rooks. I think maybe black was maybe motivated by this check or something. We can always play bishop d5. Now, it's important to say that you're still got a nice advantage after you play bishop a6. But if you think about it, what's the correctamundo move? Oh, knight d7 or knight c6. He's not doing nothing to us. Let's bring out our pieces. Look at this bad boy. Look at that bad boy. Knight d7 is the most natural, of course. All right. Okay, here we go. Boom. Boom. I don't know what he's doing. At this level, he will basically be playing a lot of players who aren't being thoughtful about their bad pieces. Like, this guy's got to get fixed. Okay? Like, you're fixing your knight. Good. I don't get it. Probably okay. I don't get it. Good move. Terrible move. This just gives you the f4 square for life. Look at that. Boom. Oh, I'm there. I've arrived. I've arrived. Boom. That's a good move. Chess is an easy game. Boom. Boom. They resigned as they cannot save the rook and defend the knight. Great game. Great game. And what we should expect, right, is that you will play many games like this in your career when you're at this level, where your opponent does not understand time and is making moves like queen e2, like a3, like h4, rook h3. And one of the nice things actually about this game is when you think about it, there wasn't really that much tactics going on, right? We did a podcast I think it's up on our Patreon already, but it will come out on the YouTube soon enough, where we talk about the question, is chess 99% tactics? It's kind of a joke question, you know, but, you know, some people take it more seriously than others. And anyways, this game is an example of a non-GM game where tactics didn't play that huge of a role, right? Okay, well done. Let's keep going. That was Era Satori. Now we have Death by Lactose. Death by Lactose might have just joined us because he doesn't have any points and we don't know what's going on, but let's go take a look. Yeah, has done not much over here. Joined end of last year. Did a touch of work. Yeah. So, we'll give him a follow. Clubs. Oh, he's got some clubs. Does he got some games? No. So, death by lactose. It seems obvious that you've joined the site in a kind of tentative way. And I encourage you, use it. Use this beautiful heat map. Even if you feel you only got 3 hours a week or something, use that thing. Use that thing. Get some green check marks. Annotate some games. Boom, you will make some progress. Okay, next up we got Wazi. Let's go check out Wazi. And then we're going to do Mexican Monkey. I'm excited about that guy. So, Wazi joined ages ago. It says from 2023. But is just now getting on with the heat map. And they're doing some non-dojo tactics. At least that's what we see so far. Okay. The tactics rating from the Puzzle Rush looks appropriate. He's got a Canadian rating as well. Okay, looks good. Let's see clubs. Yeah, all the Canada stuff's going on. Games, I have a feeling nothing. No. So Wazi, as I said with our last guy, it's clear what you need to do, right? It's clear. All right, let's continue. Next up, Mexican Monkey. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for the Mexican Monkey. Mexican Monkey is playing a lot. So, he's teaching kids at the club. Let's give him a follow. He's a dad like me. This, though, I don't think he's Mexican. This is usually the Dutch. That's not usually. That's the Dutch system there we got going. So, his tactics rating has really taken a beating. However, if we consider that and these two on the right as anomalies, then these two might be a fair representation of actually what he's got going on. Okay. On the surface, it looks like he is doing muchos game playing and not too much else. Let's go see. Clubs. European, Dutch, nice, okay. And then we got games. And then Kas van Noort from the north. Kas from the north. My Dutch rating is about 300. Let's see, we don't got clocks. Again, you guys, you can, I get it when you're doing a OTB game. It's harder to both record and input the times, but I strongly encourage it. It will pay dividends. Okay, so boom. We got two royals, really. When you got a van name over there in Northern Europe, that's a thing, man. Like, my name is also Dutch, but it isn't no fancy name like that, buddy. All right, here we go. D6, okay. Okay. And here, we're going to say that's incorrect Mundo. Now, one of the things I want to say before I criticize it is that if you don't know what you're doing and you default to development like you did here, fine. Fine. The reason we don't like it too much is, well, a couple things. Once bishop d7 happens, which is also a developing move, black at some point is going to play a6, and then we don't really want to take. We don't want to take because the knight wants this square. And once that pawn gets there, there's nothing for our knight. Yeah. So, there's a variety of other moves here. Bishop g5, bishop e3. Bishop d3 is a no lo puedo, though, because our knight is hanging. Right? Okay. Bishop e2, fine. Good. Default to development. Here, I don't know. That doesn't look right to me. Good move, I think. And now knight g4. Maybe that knight g4 is a good move. Maybe I'm the one who missed it. Maybe he even prepped that bad boy out. Hold on, though. Let's just take a momentito. Yeah, let's take a momentito. So bishop e3, knight g4. It's a little hot. Now you took on c6. a4 is interesting. I don't really get a4. All right, let's look at knight d5. This to me, this seems kind of hot. This seems hot. And now on knight e3, my intention is just to play pawn takes. I guess like queen d8, probably forced. But now, oh man, it's hot. It's a hot position. And then there's just a typical Sicilian madness position where we have loads of extra development here, right? Maybe this looks a little freaky, but maybe knight c6, pawn c6, queen f3. I don't know. I don't know. There's a big moment to think about this. Now, by the way, whenever maybe knight g4 is reasonable, but the thing to bear in mind with these players and the Sicilian in general, Sicilian, you are down in time. And so right away from the very beginning, dude, I mean, c-pawn's not a developing move, right? And oftentimes they'll blow tempo on a6 too. And it's not a bad opening. There's positional reasons to do all this stuff, such as knight g4 has a positional reason, but this is not a developing move. And if he takes, he's opening up your rook. Okay, so I like knight d5 here. Okay, so knight a4, and now queen b7. Okay. I don't like it. Why are we giving him that business? I don't want to give him that business. It's time to move the rook. I mean, the bishop. And what is, okay, this is very important, Kaz. B3 does not advance any of the interests or development in your position. So if you were just going to default to something, okay, wait. Okay, wait, I understand. You were afraid of c5, okay? Maybe the guy's got development issues. I see. So let me just do a take back. I'm allowed take backs too. On bishop d2, c5 would be stressful. Okay, now. All right, let's do it. b3, I like c4 maybe better. Here we go, c4, b3, snip, snap. Snip, snap, by the way, very controversial because he's opened up the rook. And now you go for queen f3, which isn't dumb. I would have done it too. All right, now we got ourselves an interesting situazione. Boom. Here would be nice to know what the times were. Now, this one's a very interesting position. Maybe you're toast, maybe, but black definitely has issues here. Okay, let's look at how it goes down. I personally like c3. And bishop c6. The reason I think he needs to think about something like this is because otherwise I can take this thing and then take that bad boy on a8. Okay, now you play rook d1, and that's a key loss of time. Maybe we're in big trouble anyway. It's very true. Yeah, we might be toast here. All right, boom, boom. G6, good move. Knight c5, good move. So g6, passive. It's interesting. I was like, maybe g6 is fine. No, it's not fine. And this is what he gets for not developing too. Boom. Okay, let's just say that knight e6, right, unnecessary. Now you talk about rook d4, great move. Notice the trick, if queen d4, knight e6. But if you didn't see that, oh, notice that we can't do this move really, because then he's got snippos and snarkos. We don't want any piece of that. All right, so rook d4, exclam. That's a great move. Knight e6, check, check. Now we got ourselves a real old-fashioned mess. Rook d4. Oh, buddy. Knight f4. Dang, this is hot. g5? I don't know. So here, really, yeah, some times would be good. I think he's messing with fire here. So you gave him a check, and you thought about h3. h3 for sure. Yeah, h3. Isn't he done? I think he's done. Yeah. Okay. So boom. And now black has queen d1 check. Check to the miserable. Whew. And now knight d5. Oh, and it allows that. And allows that. Oh, now we're done. Oof. I mean, I'm a GM, my friend. I'm a GM. Does that say, what happened to my little GM thing? I got a little GM thing? Where's my little GM? Where's my little GM thing? It's supposed to say GM Kraai or something like that. Yep. Oh, that's a bummer. I lost my GM title on Twitch. Oh, yeah. Viral Stigmos says the tactics test number 5 under 15,000 is incorrect. It's inverse, where the better you do, the lower the rating it gives you. No, I don't think that's true. I doubt that very much. But I'm not going to worry about it right now, because we are going to be doing once we get, well, we have a couple things that we want to get out the door. But after we do get said things out the door, we want to do a rethink of our tactics, the way we have it set up. Okay, great. Now I'm messing with stuff trying to find my GM title. I kind of don't like saying it. You know, like sometimes they want me on the YouTube videos to be like, hello, this is GM Jesse Kraai, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, you know. I'm not too much into that. Okay. So, let's continue. All right. Next up, we have Yanbro. I like that name. This was my first year really playing OTB, and I truly enjoyed improving, meeting new people at tournaments, and just playing chess in different cities. Looking forward to more improvement and therefore more graduations in the dojo. Look at that. He's already graduated twice now. All right, let's take a look. Aus Deutschland, German club system. Oh man, I wish, especially in my life stage right now, I would really like to be back in the German system. Yeah, I played second and first Bundesliga in Viernheim way back in the last millennium. And that kind of like 1 or 2 games in a weekend, oh, that was good for me, man. That was really good. Hanging out with the team and stuff, having other strong players on the team. Great. Okay, let's take a look. Dude has done 1 checkmate test and crushed it. Otherwise, these things, I don't know, the PR survival doesn't look too good, but that looks great. So I have a feeling this could be improved. And of course, we want a tactics test. He's doing a lot of tactics. We got the Aus Deutschland Club. And then let's see if we got a game from Yanbro. We do. So, boom, this was played March 1st, or submitted maybe March 1st. So first, let's see, is there a time graph? Oh, we got a nice time graph. Great. So first of all, props for entering the times. Yeah. And he says, I tried to capitalize on this time advantage. So Jesse, please don't yell at me about my time usage. First of all, now, I mean, you're saying you burned some time. That looks like a pretty reasonable graph. If anything, we'll see if we felt like you could have thought more, right? Once you get the 30-second increment, you can kind of live on it. It's very stressful. Okay, but here we go. Let's go look at the game. Boom. Let's see if I yell at him. It's not a real show unless I yell at somebody, right? So here we go. Little weird. If I'm going to yell at you, it's going to be something like this. Right? Yeah, if I'm going to yell at you, this is what I'm going to yell at. It's not a principled move. All right. Black can do all kinds of things. They play e6. Okay, here we go. Knight of d6. Okay. Weird. Well, what is he doing? He should be playing knight of 6 or something. Snip, snap. c3. Okay, black should play knight f6. Played knight c6, and right, this gives white the chance, I guess this is the dream, to play d4. Now, still I want black to play knight f6. Instead, we get c takes. Now, maybe this is fine. However, the problem is you just gave white this nice square for their knight. Knight f6, and definitely, well, I don't know about, yeah, I think definitely you should be playing knight c3 here. So bishop g5. Queen a5 is probably a little annoying right now. Okay, but he gives that to you. Beautiful. Now you're back on top. Just queen d2. Thank you very much. Oh, bishop d2. So he wants to gain a tempo. I don't know. You're developed. You play queen d2, right? Now maybe actually I wouldn't say. Maybe it's a little hectic. Maybe that's a cold shower, Jesse. Maybe that's the cold shower we didn't want to have. I feel a little bit like Woody Harrelson. Oh, Lumbra. Yeah. Ages ago, I did a German podcast. You know, I read German sometimes still, but I don't talk German that much more. So that was a little bit stressful for me. So anyways, I want to say bishop d2, exclam, because queen d2, bishop b4. And Jan says, he's here in the chat. Great that you're here. And so that's a very good find. Like, that's the kind of thing. Seeing tactics for our opponent is actually a lot harder than seeing it for ourselves. Okay. Queen c7, I'm going to say, does not look right, because eventually he's going to get nailed on the c file. Bishop e2. Now, question. The bishop does not look correctamundo on e2. We would much rather have it on d3. Now, there's two ways we can get it there. We could play bishop d3 directly, or we can hit him with this. And the point of hitting him like this would be to claim that that's a beautiful structure for us. I think that's true. So there's that. And here, bishop d3, if I'm worried about it, it'd be like, oh, is he going to whack me with some kind of queen d8 or something? You know, but it's a little bit of a long, it's going to take him a moment. He's down in time. And why do I want it here? I want to be looking. All right, here we go. Bishop e2. Simple chess. Queen a4. And he says, defending d4. However, your queen's getting into a little bit of a quagmire. Now, already it might be a little difficult for you to defend the pawn. So, if bishop e3, there's a variety of issues maybe on the d pawn, but also just the basic knight g4, and we might be like, oh, what have I done? What have I done? Still, I think bishop e3 might still be the best considering the circumstances. Because you get knocked around here. Okay, bishop d7. Here. I don't know about that move because doesn't he want to play b5? Right? Yeah, it's definitely to his advantage to be doing that kind of thing. Now this move, that's just a no comprende. I don't know what he's doing. A very natural plan for black here could be to play bishop e8. Let's just say bishop e3 first. Knight a5. I don't know where the knight goes. Like rook c8, rook c1, knight c4. Hello, Lucy. Bang, bang. And here I blew it because I allowed that move. Yeah, I don't have to allow that, though. So anyways, at some point, knight a5, knight c4. You know, like this. And black is doing great. Got to be a little careful, but black is doing great. All right, maybe first bishop e8. This, by the way, I would normally call this a Grunfeld pawn structure. White has the control of the center. Black has this initiative on the queen side. Black needs to use that initiative before this center stuff gets out of hand. And particularly on this, which seems like a loss of tempo to me, rook ac1 looks good, but also our old friend e5. Black needed, I thought, to play bishop e8, not only to hit this guy, but to enable the control of the d5 square. Right? Okay, so rook ac1, knight a5, queen a2, queen b6. And I think he's suggesting knight c4. Good. Knight c4, yeah, that's what he would want to do. And now bishop e3. I find it interesting that you're not playing e5. I'll get that. That's their best defender. Get him moving. Now, I have a feeling your intuition might have been, hey, I don't want to give black that backward pawn on d4. However, what e5 does is utilizing your strength, which is the center. Once we move the knight away, then we're going to have prospects on Mr. King. And I don't know. I guess that would be very strange to go there. I don't think he wants to do that. And e8 is obviously sad. Okay, so here we go. Bishop e3. He dislocates his knight. Bishop f4. He finally puts his rook on the right square. And now boom, boom, and we can still play e5. There it is. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to call this a critical position, you think, here for 6:30. And, okay, let's talk about it strategically. If you don't take the pawn, then knight c4 is going to happen, and that's no bueno. So you're kind of forced to take the pawn. And we got ourselves an interesting position. Now, bishop e6, queen e4, bishop a3. That looks like a blunder, bishop a3. Okay, so now in 30 seconds, you played rook a1. So remember, we were wondering, is Jesse going to get the opportunity? Is he going to get the opportunity to yell at anybody today? And plus, like, oh no. And so if we go to the time, let's go. This is move 26. You got plenty of time here, and you spend 30 seconds on this move. Okay, so let's go back to the game review. And what we want to say here is you are in an amazing position in terms of the center and in terms of maybe giving him the final whack down here with knight g5. So in addition to rook a1, which I don't really like, we have two options that require some calculation. One is knight g5, looks very strong to me, and the other is taking first. Now, let's go take a look at knight g5 for a moment, Tito, right? Okay, so first question, can he steal our coconut? Well, let's see. Check here, and how about I just take it? Now, is it a little spicy? Yeah, a little spicy. A little spicy. But it looks very compelling for us. Our basic threat is to take this one and then to play bishop g5. Yeah, it looks evil. Right. Yeah, it looks very strong. Now, if we were concerned by that, we could take first on c8. This would be our other option. And, of course, if he plays rook c8, then that looks very strong again. And if he plays bishop c8, this would be maybe the one I'd be a little bit more concerned with, because on knight g5, he has queen g6. But we got to say, actually, this is a nice, here's a nice, I think this is a, well, yeah, I think this is a nice move. Knight g5, queen g6, queen e3, and that might be an exclam, because I'm whacking this guy and I'm getting ready. Well, maybe he's got bishop f5 and bishop e3. You can see why this variation is a little bit more complicated. Now, I am not here to give you the final analysis on this position, but I am here to tell you that this was the critical position. And the way you could tell it is like, we got this knight g5 in the air. We got a potential d5 thing in the air. And it's time to start mating the guy. And something I didn't even mention was we could always consider bishop d3. Right? Now you could say to me, Jesse, what about this g6 move? What about g6? And maybe after knight g5, maybe that's what they should do. But then we're going to start looking for ye old queen h4 and all that other stuff. Okay? So the issue with rook a1, unless it's like tactically winning, is we just ceded the c file. Okay, bishop b2, and then you went back. And then now the initiative, I would say, has passed a little bit to our opponent. Now, bishop d5 may be not the strongest. Maybe even stronger would be bishop c4. To get rid of bishop d3, and really the knight wants this square. That's kind of really what we're aiming at. And to allow queen g6. So here, bishop d5's got to be fine. If I was black, though, I would be concerned with queen b1 now. And then knight g5 next, bishop d3 stuff. Queen f5, I really don't like bishop f3. Maybe I do, actually. Well, we're about to find out. So bishop d4. And now he misses on rook d4. He thinks he's being a genius, and unfortunately it doesn't work out. So I have to take it back that bishop f3 is a problem. I have to do a take back. I'm allowed take backs. And on queen b1, we have this problem again. So one of the things we want to say is rook a1, we lose the initiative. And even here, yeah, things have gone poorly for us because queen b1 actually doesn't work. Queen f5 doesn't work. So in our annotations, we also, it's not just we should think more on this critical decision, but in our annotations, we got to be like, oh yeah, I got to figure out where I went wrong. Now, you still have some practical chances in this position. Part of the bummer, though, is on bishop e4, you could play queen g6 still. Bishop f2 isn't a threat, so this bishop is doing a nice job covering here. We're definitely worse. There's no doubt about it. Maybe bishop g4. Yeah, maybe bishop d4. All right, here we go. Rook d4, queen d4, bishop e3, and then queen a4. So, oh, this is very interesting. This is a very interesting game, actually. So let's just say Black thinks for 330 here. I'm looking at the time graph on the side. So they are indeed in a little bit of a time pressure. Jan talks about queen d7 as being better for Black. I think we're not done yet, though. Let's look, because queen d7, snip, snop, snook, snark, snook, snick, and then rook c1, he's got this really painful move. Oh, that's a bummer. But wait, it's not over. Bishop g4, if rook here, will continue with this move. And with that, we'll okay, knight, it's not over yet. And here we could consider e6 or f4. f4 unfortunately allows knight e3. But in all those positions we're not completely done. So this is a good evaluation, but I think I'd want to go a little deeper. Now, what's cool about this is just the fact that you are developing a nice initiative now after this queen a4 move. Yeah, this is actually really nice. Queen a4, by the way, feels very wrong from the perspective that he is putting the queen like way off to the side, right? Now, I'm wondering, and I get it. Let's talk about why he did it. Because he's thinking about bishop b6, and he wants to guard the knight. So that's why he's putting it on a4. Oh, yeah, this is fun. So good analysis. I think queen d7. Good move. That's great. Now, you give g6 a question mark, but go ahead. Is there some other move he could do? Yeah, is there something? I don't know. It's looking real bad. Because if you take on h7, then bishop g5 comes. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe e6 or h6. It looks real nasty. It looks real nasty. I'm assuming, for example, that, but maybe this is what you gotta try. So, he's living, oh yeah, he's pushing it. Maybe it could go like this, boom, 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 and maybe king f7 with the point that bishop g6 here. I don't know. This would be something to analyze. Again, I encourage you, in this very interesting thing for you to analyze, honestly, because, yeah, it would be good to analyze moves like h6. See, like if g6, I get it. It might just be losing. But put yourself in Black's shoes and be like, bows. What could I have done? All right, here we go. g6. This looks crushing. Man on the run. Okay, here he goes. Bishop h6. And then he misses bishop g5. Yeah, it's a beautiful move. And you can see this cool little symbol we got, move not found during the game. And I'm going to guess that it's a little bit psychological, where you missed that rook d7 wasn't possible because of mate. Like your mind might have flirted with bishop g5, but you might have just said, oh yeah, rook d7, and what do I got? And then you got to do the Polgar mates, buddy. Polgar mates, yeah. So e6. Now, just to my naked eye, it still looks really brutal here for your opponent. Rook c7. Okay. Now bishop g5. And yeah, you notice queen h8 looks completely winning to me. Completamente winning. Okay. So bishop g5, and now there's this little problem. Boom. Okay, is it really gotten to that point? It might have gotten to that point. One extra bummer is our bishop can't do c6 because the knight. Like, the knight is so bad. But he's doing his little job from there. Now, he calls this equal. I don't know yet. I don't know. Let's see here. Check. King e7. EF, and I think King F7 is maybe Black's miss here, because King F7 is allowing Rook A1. So the question is, what if Knight C4? Does Black maintain the advantage with Knight C4? It looks scary to me. It looks scary. Maybe here, I'm just trying to get my rook in. Here. No, but then I just play A5. I don't know. It's looking like maybe crispy critters. Okay, so this, on move 40, the guy, let's see, actually, I'm going to look over here. Well, we can see it right here on your opponent. He still had 4 minutes left. And he plays this. This is an example of an incautious move. Oh, excuse me. That's not him. That's you. And then he plays King F7 instantly. Now, you're the one with the more time. Now, by the way, that's not your fault. I don't know. You have to play EF7, right? So that's not your fault. It's his fault to not do this. And then boom. Boom. Oh, move 41. Now, one of the things that's interesting about this is the guy just got a chunk of time with Knight B3. So we look at the time graph here. He got a whole extra 15 minutes added, and then he blew it with Knight B3. One of the crazy things, too, about this is Knight B3, oh, I see what he wants. He was actually trying to be very clever. This is what he wanted, my friends. He wanted Rook A6 here, and then Knight C5. Now, it doesn't actually win a piece because White has Rook C6, but still, that was his intention. Okay. Good. I thought that was a very good annotation. And one of the cool things about going over your games is gaining a sense of when the critical moment arises. By the way, just as a chess history thing, in my eyes, the person who helped talk about critical moment, that dude just died, Boris Spassky. Yeah. So I feel like this is the position both in your game and during your home analysis. You know, you should put some time into it. Okay. Beautiful. Well done. That was great. All right. Next up, we have Avocado Lobster. And Avocado is just graduating all the time, dude. All the time. So let's take a look. Oh, Avocado wrote me a message. Let me get something to drink before I read this bad boy. Jan, thank you for being here. All right, here we go. This is my third graduation since joining the dojo some 14, 15 months ago. This graduation was surprisingly fast, and I was a bit reluctant to hit the graduation button as I don't really think I deserve it. But seeing as I won another rated league game tonight, I decided to go ahead and just do it. The reason for my reluctance was that I don't think I have played well at all in the last few OTB games that I've played. In fact, I've been downright disgusted by my play in most of the games. I also took a blow last month when I finished just with 8 out of 18 in the Danish Chess Problem Championship. Okay, interesting. Which was one less than previous year. All 18 problems are made in twos, but they are still way more difficult than what I would have gotten in the Polgar mates. I think he might mean up to 1,000 in the Polgar mates. My disgust with my play comes from the fact that I am very well aware of what I need to do. Slow down and take my time. Yet it's easier said than done, absolutely. I've done a lot of work on my chess psychology, in particular when it comes to OTB. I find that I'm surprisingly better at taking my time in online games in the Dojo Classical and Round Robin. However, these are also shorter than my OTB, which may explain it at least partially. So how come I win the OTB games anyway when I do not use my time? Well, the short answer is that my opponents are not using their time either. Same time, I think I have become much better at punishing loss of tempi in the opening and early middle game. Thus, even when I blunder material, I've always had at least partial compensation in the shape of better development, and I have had luck exploiting that in most games. While I'm not that much of a chessable guy, I enjoyed the Visualize 1 course as it offered something different than I have tried in the past. In the beginning, I was a bit annoyed that the sequences of moves often seemed illogical, but somewhere in the process, I realized that it was not about finding the best move from the given position, but to visualize how the sequence of moves would alter the dynamics. Not getting too far in ready, but will keep studying it as I like the historical progression. I have mostly been playing a lot of games in the dojo tournaments, but have not been too good at analyzing them in a timely fashion. I am very thrilled about the dojo way of working, and I'm very happy with the insights and ideas I get from the materials and the graduation streams. One thing I love about the dojo is that you three great minds, with very different ideas of chess, yet you managed to build a website, a community, and a podcast. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's hard. We were fighting this morning. Oh, buddy. Jeez. The global social and political landscape, this is increasingly rare, and you guys give me hope that we all find ways to lean into each other's differences and ideas rather than distance and isolate ourselves from the rest of the world. Jesse, please give me a thorough, well-deserved dojo time graph scolding when you review my game. I need it so that I can provide you a GM time graph next game. Okay, beautiful. So this is avocado lobster. All right. So Mexican Monkey was in the YouTube. Thank you for being here. There's avocado lobster, enjoying a nice drink there. Beautiful time graph. He's been at it. Look at avocado lobster. When you ask yourself, how do you get these fancy 3 graduations? This is how you do it. Look at that. Actually, let's pop it out. Boom. And let's go heat map. Look at that bad boy. He is crushing it, bro. Look at that thing. Absolutely slaying it. All right. Let's go back. And he's got some goals. The FIDE rating. Looking good. Now, he's in the Danish. He's got his tactics rating, and he's flying with the tactics rating. One thing is cool is he was mentioning made in twos, and he is definitely slayed that over here. So this is looking good. We should expect from this that his overall rating is going to continue going up, at least for a while. Okay, do we got a Danish club? European, Danish Dojo, great. We've got 10 members in the Danish Dojo, beautiful. Let's go games. And he wants me to scold him. Jan didn't want the scolding, and avocado does. Okay, so this is a team match. And let's see if we get a time graph. Oh, God. Oh, does anyone want to do the yelling for me? You know, you anyone want to yell at him for me? Jeez, Melise, look at that. You know, I need an automated AI yell, an AI scream. You know, my throat, I can't take it. So, as you can see, neither player is thinking over here. All right, so let's get into the game. We'll go game review. All right. So, boss fixed the scene. It's true. I'm sorry, but I've been getting pretty good at the scene. And, you know, I was forced to buy this, what do they call it? Stream Deck thing. So my streaming rating, I feel, is a solid 900 to 1,000, like that. All right, here we go. Okay, here. Right. And DC5 is the move I give in my course. And C3 can't be terrible, but it's really important to understand the dynamics here for a second. So black is essentially, after C3, playing an advanced French with a tempo down, but with his bishop out. So what we have to, if this is going to work for us, we have to not let the bishop out. All right, let's see how it goes now. Boom, boom, boom. We let the bishop out. Okay. Now, there needed to be some kind of creative solution to this problem if you're going to play it this way. Maybe even, it might look weird, but DC5. And you'd be like, well, why did I play C3? Well, you'll be able to play this. But honestly, it's a little bit like if you didn't play it last move, you might not play it now, right? Okay, so here we go. Now he's doing great. E6. Queen B6. Well, right, this is a real problem now. Black has achieved their aims. And now we lose a pawn. And we lose a second pawn. Now, it is a little maybe greedy. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Now, one of the things I will say is, if I was black, I'm not sure I would have taken the first pawn or the second pawn. It might be correct to take the pawn, but now it's really important to see that this is a dangerous situazione for the black pieces, because the development is so terrible here, and the position is now becoming open. All right, so knight ge7, and I really think that's a slow move. Rook b1 makes a lot of sense. Knight b3 makes some sense. Even h3 makes some sense. I don't get it. Now this just makes, we're just losing time. And now this guy is a greedy monster. he's not getting it. Now, one of the things we'll say is, at this level, they don't understand development, right? I just came out with this course on Chessable. It's called Mastering Time in Chess. We look at loads of positions from dojo games, exactly like this, where somebody has given you time and you need to take advantage of it, right? Now, you play knight d4, and I just want to think about it a second, because you have a couple options here. This would also be good. Do we have a time graph on this? Oh, we already talked about it. We already talked about the time graph, didn't we? Okay, so check it out. This is when we talk about time, this is where we need to really think on knight ge5. And here, actually, we can tell you have 117. You thought for 2 minutes on knight d4. Okay. So, in addition to what you did, we also have, I thought, for example, that the idea of rook c2 was to play over here. So I was thinking maybe you wanted to do this and gain a tempo that way. And here the basic claim is that if they play this, then it's just going to be toast. It's going to be toast. Queen b5, rook b1, c6. Forget about it. Now, I think that is one variation I would want to consider. And again, I've already thought more about this position than you did during the game. Right? Right. So knight d4 is not a developing move. And then they take. And bishop e7 definitely makes more sense. Okay. Now, bishop d4 also I'd want to consider. Okay. Do I understand rook e2? I don't think I do. So played, you did think about it a couple minutes. What do I want? I want that rook b1. Because I want to punish him. I want to go downtown. All right, rook e2, and now he just loses his mind completely. King d8. No, I don't know. Check to the miserable king. I think he's probably done now. Good move. Good. That's probably a good move. Check to the miserable king. Snippos. Now, Queen B7 is probably looks also very strong. Queen C8, followed by Queen B7, looks in the simplest, right? And there it is, over. I guess it's just totally winning no matter what, though, the poor guy. Okay, so again, you are going to face this kind of opponent again and again. The people who are going to give you loads of tempi. And it will be your path. I've seen this in the graduation show, that after 1,000, you are not going to get people who hang stuff as much, right? Just hanging pieces. Instead, you're going to get people who hang tempi, and they're not going to get it. And this person didn't get it, and they were crushed. Yeah, they were crushed. Okay, so let's continue. Boom. Now we got abs. Actually, I'm gonna get myself a little drink here. I'll be right back. Boom.
Welcome to Dojo. Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine did he packing. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes.
All right, my friends, we are back. And next up we have Abs. He didn't say much. Let's see what's going on here. I am following this person. That probably means they've graduated once before, which they have. Also from Holland. So that's really cool. Not a lot of, let's see if I go over here. Not a lot of stuff registered over here. Not a lot going on here. She has done a PR, Puzzle Rush of with a good score. Clubs, Dutch Dojo. Games, oh, we got loads. Okay, so, this is another fancy person. This person is a Van. See, I'm just a Kraai, dude. That's nothing special, but this is a Van. So, we have, boom, clock times. Let's take a look. I would say this is a fairly reasonable graph, especially for you. Maybe at this point you stopped taking score because it was completely winning or something. But that looks great. Yeah, your opponent, yeah, great. Well done. So then we'll go game review, and I'm going to address a question that we got in the Cross Online says, the clock represents your allotted thinking time. Not using your time teaches yourself to play shallow chess. That sounds right, yeah. Skevik says, I will start with the course next week, but at our noob level, material looks more important than time, even though I understand that's not always the case. Lucky, right? Lucky J-Lo says, any advice to find a training partner? I've posted in Discord a couple times and don't seem to be finding anything. Right. Also, one of the things to say about that is that when you go, actually after I do this, we'll go look at the calendar, because posting there or looking there is a really good place to start as well. Okay, but we're gonna do this one first. All right, so we did the time graph. Mark this thing and let's get into this game. Oh, buddy. So this is my system that I do in the Chess Dojo, aggressive repertoire for white. It's a beauty. And black doesn't get it. They lose time. What's going to happen at this level? Lots of lost time. Here I think I would prefer D3 before F4, but it's fine. Good. And now we have a really nice attacking setup. E6, Queen E1. Now, I want to stress here that, yeah, okay, F5 is also an interesting move at this momentito. Queen E1, Bishop D2. It's probably okay. You could also consider Queen H4. B3. Now, I'm a little concerned about C4 here. In general, black wants to open the position. It will get very shit. Shit. Oh, Kraai, what are you doing, buddy? Huh? What are you doing, you fish face? Oh, man, my life is, you know, I was complaining about life, but after that, I'm really complaining. What are you doing? What are you doing? Man. All right, 1 second. Okay, so the reason we want to be concerned with C4 is black would really like to open the position, right? Black would like to open the position, and we don't want to let black open the position. It would be very interesting complications after bishop E3. All right, but let's continue with the game. King H1, reasonable. Notice bishop b7 is terrible. That bishop's not going anywhere. Now, one of the reasons that we want to play f5 ourselves is to prevent f5 from black. But notice, f5 here is no lo puedo because of knight g5, snip and snap. Why is this possible, though? Because the bishop went here. So when we look from black's perspective, f5 might be necessary right now. Right? To stop f5, our own f5 from happening. Queen h4, beautiful. Queen c7. And now you played rook a b1. I don't like it. Need to get my rook from the a1 square. And now you say correctly that rook a e1 looks better. Good. Okay. This, by the way, in the course we have a lot of variations with exactly this move, and you just have a really nice attacking setup. Honestly, you're still doing pretty good here, but it's clear that the rook on e1 will have more long-term influence than b1. Now, he blunders, as we talked about, with knight g5, good move, and now he's done. Good move. Now we just got to finish him off. And actually, if I remember right, your time graph, it's okay to, if you know, we don't need to take the time, you know, now if he's just going to be, if he's just toast. Great moves. I like this. Okay. Simple chess. Look at that bishop on b7. What is he doing? Beautiful. I don't know why you took on d5, but you are definitely winning this. Okay, good game. I also like it when, you know, people use a very a system they understand. And when you annotate the game, that's how you're going to get better at it. Now, I promise for Lucky J. Lalo, we're going to go look at the calendar for a second. Okay. Now, fix it. Something that there I am. I was like, there's my little graduate show. I think somebody ruined it. Somebody ruined it. I know why it is. Kostya did the graduation show last week, and that's why it's all messed up. So I have to fix my own scheduling here. Here I am talking smack about how great this calendar is, and my own calendar is apparently no bueno here. Anyways, we're going to say fix grads and calendar. So on my to-do. In any case, what we want to observe is these bookable things that people have got going, right? So I don't know, Nemo. Let's go give Nemo a clip. So Nemo, for example, he's looking for 1,000, 1,100. That could be somebody, right? You could check out Alan. What is he looking for? 1,300, 1,400. What is looking for 900 to 1,000. So you can see there's a variety of people who are putting stuff out here that is beautiful for you. We got this weekly under 1,000 calculation session, techniques of positional play. Beautiful. All this stuff is available to you. And if you have a specific time that you want to do something, put it on the calendar, and you will maybe, hopefully, get somebody to look at your business. All right, let's go back. And next up, we have Aaron Nimzovich. What does Aaron say? ChessCom keeps going up, FIDE keeps going down, but I do think I'm on the right track. It's a small sample size where a couple of lapses decide so much. I do feel like a bit of a fraud graduating when only one out of several ratings tells me to, but I also want to know what the next cohort has in store. I've been working on my calculation and playing a lot these last few months, which I think has paid off. Probably going to read a bit more now. I stupidly lost an endgame in my last tournament, a painful reminder that Silman's endgame book is not there to collect us. Auf geht's! And Beloved Bookkeeper just subscribed. Thank you, Beloved Bookkeeper. I haven't seen Beloved Bookkeeper in a while. Beloved Bookkeeper, I have a question for you. Are you going to play this weekend? That's my question for you. I'm playing a little tournament, a little local tournament. Beloved Bookkeeper is also local. Hungry Hunger Hyper Modernist. All right, beautiful. It's been too long. This weekend, Rockville, the dreaded Rockville, Maryland. That's where the tournament's going to be. Okay, so doing some good work. Again, this is our beta of what we're going to roll out probably pretty soon. Aaron's been working hard. Tactics, maybe you could do a little work on the tactics. That's a pretty good, those numbers are pretty close. So that's a good thing to work on for Aaron. We got some clubs going on. Auf Deutschland. And then we got some games. There we go. Let's do this one. Pop. So, first, is there time? No time. Again, you can put the times in. And we'll go game review. We'll mark this as reviewed. All right. So, boom. Okay. Unusual. Boom. A3. Knight D4. Interesting move. Okay, so the interesting part about this, of course, is you are going to lose. You're going to lose a tempo if you decide to take. And so it's kind of like what you're saying is that it's really cool that you double their pawns. But I don't know how big of a deal it is. So, because you're going to lose time, right? You have to bring the knight back. So that's also pretty good move, with the intention that if they do this, we're going to gain another tempo with knight d5. All right, here we go. So we lose time. Fine. Little weird. Now his dark square bishop looks sad. I am loving my position. Good. And f5 is a very ambitious move. Interestingly, once you know the pattern from the last game, where we looked at the Sicilian, it's very similar to this one with f5. Okay, knight f. I think f5 is fine. g3, taking too much time, right? Well, what are you doing, buddy? This is where it would be good to know how much time this guy was taking. All right, e4. I don't like this move at all. Okay. All right. So the problem with e4 is this knight at the moment doesn't have any good squares. Now, your intention is to make a claim about this knight going here. And honestly, maybe your position is still preferable. But I'd rather not do it. Now, that said, might not be super easy to come up with a plan here. In general, though, I want to be looking for an f4 break to bring out my bishop. That's what I'd like. And timing that is the money question. Okay, so personally, the move I like is knight e4. Why? Because I want to play bishop e6, but I don't want to allow knight g5. Right? And it prevents b4, which I don't know, something like that has got to be on his cards. Right? Okay, so e4, knight d4, knight e5. I like that. And this move, no bueno. He seems to be seeking counterplay on the queen side, but there's no real threat. Yeah. So, you don't want to play f4. He needs a plan, of course. He needs a plan that involves getting his bishop out. Well, to me, b4 seems like the main thing that he should be trying. Make some expansion. Maybe the bishop finds a way out on this diagonal, depending on how things go. All right, queen b3, good move. Now that, look at that knight, just so sad, so dominated. Simple chess. Okay, I'm just looking at different things. And bishop b7. Okay, this is ambitious. So what we're claiming is we're going to knight f3 him, and it's all going to be over. Might be true, but do you really need it? Let's pause for a second here. Let's pause. Queen e8 should be a move to consider, because the next move will be knight f3, and then we're playing queen h5, then we're playing knight g4. I'm not sure what b6 was doing. I thought for a second that your intention was to play against this pawn. So for example, a4, maybe just a5, because here we're playing position. We're going to go here, and then we're going to build it up and then crush it. It's a little slow. I want to mate him. So bishop b7, and now this queen a2, no comprendo. He's got to play a5. Okay. Good move. Now his queen is totally out of the game. Oh, what is he doing? It's so gross. Interesting. Okay. Look at that. Rook f6, fine. Okay. Okay. He's not threatening anything. h5, good move. Okay. Now knight h4. Boom. Oh, you missed knight h4, or maybe it's still lost no matter what, but knight h4 is a move because rook h4, queen h4. Did I miss that? No, we just won the exchange. Now knight g4, but why? I don't want to play knight g4 because he wins a pawn, right? So I didn't like that. There's no need. No need to give him things. Oh, this is making me nervous now. Okay. Queen e2. This guy's like determined to be passive. Determined to be passive. Okay. Look at this. Look at this thing over here. At least bring it around so that it does something. Oh, no. Queen h3 check. Bishop g4 looks totally winning, too. Oh, dear. It's getting a little bit loose here. And then this is a nice tactic. I like that. Okay. So, well done. Okay, and let's continue. Next up, we have X Daniel. Let's go take a look. X Daniel's been doing a lot of work from Sweden. Played as a teenager. Now has come back. Nice. 1308 with the FIDE, 1604. Very nice. Okay, looking good. Everything's looking good. All right, tactics. He crushed the checkmate test. Did terribly on one tactics test. We're going to work on those tactics businesses. All right. So, clubs, nothing. Games, we got some. So this is going to be Daniel. Poops. And now we're going to take a look at ye olde time. Now you could tell this was inputted maybe every 5 moves or so, which is fine. That's definitely a way to do it. We have an opponent that's not thinking. All right? Okay, so here we go. Okay. So far, so good. A little poor. Poor. Now, you do not need to play rook e8 to play e5. Just play it. Just do it. You don't need it. Poor. g4. Now, at this level, we've talked about this a lot. They will not develop their pieces. Now, why is e5 absolutely necessary and not c5? Well, actually, let me just take it back. Let me take the wording back. There's nothing necessary in the position because your opponent's mucking it up. However, we want to play e5 because we just put our rook here. We want to open this coconut. Poor. Now knight d5. Good. Now we really want to open him. We're ahead in time. We want to open. Let's play e5 now. Oh. Let's play e5 now. No. Castles. Okay. Bishop b7. Okay. Okay, let's play a5 now. That's okay. e4. Okay, here we go. Interesting position. d5. Notice he's not thinking about the pieces, and he's opened up your bishop on g7. a5, good move. Rook b1, passive. Bishop a6, good. This bishop was broken over here. However, I want you to notice the scary part about bishop a6 is that now he's got the c6 square, which might hurt us. And what's cool about this now is now the knight can block it. So the scary move was rook here, or the other rook, and then followed by rook c6. Okay, so bishop a6, he helps you out. Good move. Okay. Okay. Knight e5. A little frisky. The issue with this is you are inviting the knight to c6. And when he takes here, you're going to be getting rid of all your stuff. So f4 seems very weird. And knight, bishop takes, pawn takes, knight c6 is the position that scares me. Looks very scary. You have f5 here? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, this one looks scary. Okay, so f4, this does not look right. And you play bishop d4 and then force the queen trade. Okay, so this is very frisky what he's doing. I don't really want to trade queens here. You got, I'm just looking because you do have several options here. You have knight b3, pawn takes, bishop takes. I like that better than what happens in the game. You might have something else. Okay, why don't I like this though? I think he should take for sure on here because now the knight is misplaced and is dominated. And this type of ending is pretty nasty for you because he's going to put this rook here. This will be a threat. He'll play bishop f2 at some point. It's going to get scary. All right, bishop f2, snip, snap. Let's put a rook on c8. Good. Now, you played e5. This is a very scary position for us because the bishop is stronger than our knight. I think you should try to survive with knight c5. Okay, now white needs some good moves. Bishop e3 looks passive. The interesting thing about your position, right, is I guess you are claiming that e5, that you are going to play e5 and that's going to be an achievement for you. And it might be. So here we go. Bishop e3, knight c5, and the dude snips. He's afraid of knight d3. Okay, fun position. Now, you say that rook c5 is a mistake, and you're right. This move will create a weakness, my soon-to-come c5 pawn, and it will eventually allow for a rook penetration on d7. Okay, let's go dc5, and you say rook c4. I'm not sure I understand rook c4. And then you analyze this kind of thing. Okay. Now, after rook c4, the first thing you should think about is actually this move for counterplay. And I don't know. So dc5, I don't like rook c4. It's an interesting position. Are you going to get counterplay with this pawn? If white plays rook ed1, I'm concerned about rook f8. So king f2, c4 here. White's better. I don't know. It's pretty hot though. Now the way you played it, maybe the way to well, it's going to be interesting. This might be possible to play this way. It might actually be better because, well, I don't know. I'm not sure about rook d1, by the way. So this is where we have to analyze a little bit. Rook d1 is controversial because rook f8, you're going to start taking his coconuts and activate all your business, right? So I don't know. Rook f8 looks like a thing, right? I think white should have played king f2. I feel pretty strongly about that. Now if rook d8, we can play here. If rook f8, we play there. And the reason that this looks worse than the corresponding position with both rooks on the board is it's going to be easier for white to attack this guy with only one rook on the board. When we contrast, say, this position, well, it's going to be harder for white to, if and when we push c3, let's just say we did it now, We take back with the rook because we want that activity. Anytime he goes here, we're going to whack him. Now, that's not the case when there's just one rook. With one rook, he's just going to take our pawn, right? Okay, so rook d1, mistake, and here you missed rook f8. It would be great if we had a time graph here, which we kind of do. Excuse me, we have a time graph. And what we can see is you were like living on the increment at this point. And your opponent, he wasn't thinking. All right, so I love it when they play poorly. King f2. First he held his hand over his king, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. Then he changed his mind, held his hand over the rook, and I was like, no, no, no. But then he changed his mind again, moving the rook, and I was, yes. Stockfish later revealed that rook d7 would not affect the drawing evaluation at all, but it would psychologically, since I believe I would have lost. Okay, so let's get into it. Rook d1. First of all, rook f8. Boom, counterplay. King f8 is weird because, well, I don't know. Why wouldn't we play, if we were going to move the king, why wouldn't we play king f7? All right, rook d7. And here, at the minimum, you could play rook e8. Now, it's a very hot position. I'm not sure king f2 is a mistake. It looks right to me. Actually, let me say that to me, the critical line, besides king f2, would be rook d6, intending king e7, rook c6. That gives me a little heartburn. However, let's just say it's not over. The party continues because we get active with a move like rook d8. That's why he kind of needs to put, for the sake of this pawn and for the sake of the square, he needs to bring his king in. All right, here we go. King e7, e5, terrible move. Losing all of the dynamic potential of his pawns. So king e3 looks much stronger, right? Okay, e5. And now rook d8 is a very interesting move. Okay. Now, the issue with this is maybe he's going to be able to hold after snip, snop, and c4. Excuse me, b3, stopping c4. So, the ambitious way to play this position would be c4. With the point that on rook d6, we play rook c8, and we say, you've got no time to be doing this. By the way, we're not over yet. He can still do this. We come. Now, this looks evil for you because on pawn takes looks good, but also rook takes. Rook takes with this incredible point here, and we go bam, and we say, oh, buddy, I'm going to get the two connected passers. Oh, e5, what a terrible move. Okay, here we go. Rook d8, snip, snap, king e3. Maybe we're in trouble. Well, honestly, it's hard to believe we could be in trouble because he killed his own pawns over here. Now, maybe he could organize some kind of wild f5 thing we have to watch out for. Here it comes. King d3, a4, king c4, king c6. Now, what's going to happen is you are going to be forced to play king b6. And then I don't think he can do ever f5 because you're in the box. So you're not going to lose this thing. At least I don't see it. b3. Now wait a second. This is an interesting one. Is White actually, because of his dreadful e5 move, even though he attained c4, is he actually going to be in trouble? If he can't do the f5 trick, then he's going to feel it, I think. I think he's going to feel it. Okay, here we come. B3 and now AB3. Now, A3 is very interesting. What is the point, by the way? He has got the ability to lose a tempo with H4, but we are just going to go back and forth until the guy gives us the square. Now, we might return to A3. Let's see the game first. H4. Okay, now king C6. Ooh. Maybe it works. Now, I just want to stress, you can run him. Okay, this is really wild. So you say this is a double question mark, but, and now C4, and now F5. Good analysis. Good analysis, bro. Oh my God, this is a very hot endgame, my friends. Leela, thank you for rating. We're looking at some Chess Dojo games here, and in particular, this pawn endgame is a real spicy Dow here. And now C4. Now I got some of my own confusions here. So he plays H5, and then you're winning. But, my good friends, what is L eval on king C2? Because look, if we take said pawn, then F5 happens. GF, H5. And doesn't he win the race? Now, we might not be done yet. So, imagine king here. Now, if king b3, we have this move. Wait, no. He still does this. No, wow, look at this. It's so insane. Wait, we got to check it. F5. Now, if king e5, F6, king d6, king b3 is winning. Okay? EF, he's winning. So GF, H5, king here, C5, who's winning? I don't know. We got to look. F4. This is hot. Well, he's going to get there first. G6, pop, pop. So, boom, boom. I mean, I don't know. What a mess. Whew. Now, let's go back. Maybe we can make it easier for white. So king d4, I think, is our big try. Now, the problem is on king b3, he's got king c5. And it's very important. Then he's in the box. If king b2, trying to be a wise ass, okay, intending king c5, king b3, if he's a wise ass, then maybe we play here. Now, this has to be investigated. c5. King d5. And then we're hosed, right? The milk has gone bad. Wow, this is a great endgame. Yeah. CM Vertvich says, pawn and games for beginners. This one's tough, dude. This one's a real hectic one. In any case, H4, I want to just look at this one more time. Because one of the things that's weird is he understood that this is poor because of then F5. So wait a second. This is really hot. Okay, let's start here. King b5, h4. Okay, let me just try this one, which he doesn't like. King c4, king c6, king d3. And what about king d5? So now king c2 loses to here. h5 loses to Snakos. So king e3, now we got to talk. Because c4, I think, is still running into snip snop f5. Whew. Oh, it's super hot, my friends. Heat doesn't even describe what's happening here. Wow. Looks like he's still okay. Yeah, e5 was horrendous. Okay. This is a really interesting one. So far, I haven't found the shakedown. All right, but let's see how it finished. h5 blunder. Snip, snop, snook, snark, gotcha. So what we can see, actually, I want to share something. Maybe the most important thing for this is to see that his opponent wasn't thinking. And I guarantee you, that pawn endgame, I thought, I'm just kind of superficially, chump GM reviewing this pawn endgame. I thought longer than this guy did. Yeah, look at that. He wasn't thinking at all. He's just like, screw it, I'll push these pawns. Okay, so that was crazy. What's an intermediate book for pawn endgames? That's a good question. For one, let's just say Daniel going over this game by himself is a great introduction. I personally have, I don't know, we have the Dojo endgame tests, which are pretty good with the pawn endgames. We're going to develop those more. There's one called Endgame Challenge that I think is a pretty good intermediate one. Yeah. Okay, let's continue to pretend that our lives will never end. And now we have Chess Caviar and we got a couple graduations, boss. We're going to look at Take Your Piece. All right, so Grad Show and Chess Caviar. Chess Caviar is graduating all the time here. So here we go. 1253, crushing it. You can see just graduating all the time. At some point, it's going to become harder for Chess Caviar. But at the moment, the program, crushing it, you can see last 3 weeks hitting, just doing a lot of work, dude. 17 hours, 7 hours, 33 hours. Nice, dude. Okay. So if Chess Caviar can keep this up, it's obviously a beautiful thing. It'd be cool to see what the Checkmate and Tactics test ratings might be. All right, so let's go look. Clubs, Adult Improver, fine. And maybe just activity. It's actually, I can also see it here. He's been doing, let's say, a little bit of tactics here. So he started from the bottom. That's everyone's first chess workbook he's done. The checkmate tests over here. Learn chess the right way. Fine. Okay, great. So let's go look at Take Your Piece. Somewhere in there. There he is. Bang. This is a 60 plus O. And let's yell at both of them. Somebody wasn't taking their time. All right. So we'll yell, a mild yell. We'll see how bad it is as we get into it. Or maybe it isn't that bad. We'll just see. All right. Okay. It's fine. Frisky. ED5, D5, ED5. And now, what's going to be interesting about this? Well, I don't know if it's interesting. Knight takes D5 is generally thought to not be the greatest move. Okay. So, your opponent, though, I don't think is actually going to be able to hurt you because they don't know what they're doing. There's a variety of moves here that make sense. The simplest one to understand, Chess Caviar, is Knight A5. And just to say, it's a little it's definitely very complicated, but you have grand compensation because you are pushing the white pieces around. Okay, so knight d5, d4 is, the people in the 19th century figured out d4 as a very potent reply. Protecting the knight, developing. It's very hot. We're not going to get into it. Queen f3. I think this is correctamundo. Snip. And you play queen g6, and it looks like maybe you're just holding this bad boy together. Knight c3, knight d4, and your opponent's already blundered. Look at that, knight d4. Queen e4, we're going to say thank you very much. Very nice intermezzo move. Now we're going to take on e4, take on a1. Goodbye. Goodbye. Now, great. There we go. So that's the way it looks when you play against somebody in the dojo. Knight d5, that's just a chump threat. Bishop b6, good move. b4, that's some chump change. c6, fine. You said thank you very much. Bishop e6, fine. Good. I don't know what they're doing. Thank you very much. Right, let's see what you say here. After seeing how challenging this game became, I label this as a mistake. I place my bishop on the same file while king clears a path for rook b1. Well said. So you thought for 1 minute 28. And this is a good example of trying to control what we call impulsivity. Okay, you're winning this position. You're up pawns, you're up the exchange, and a3 is just giving you a pawn for nothing. And it's like in 19 seconds, he's just like, I think I'll just chuck this pawn. That's an important pawn, man. That's an important pawn. Okay, so this is a little impulsive. You're still winning, of course, but it is maybe becoming a little bit tricky now. Okay, bishop a3, rook b1, bishop a4, and right now he's coming down. Oh, he's not coming down. Okay. Uh-oh. Now, was this a double question mark in less than a minute of time? Something I want to stress is this rook takes b5. I don't know. Because see, here's the problem. Let's say bishop e7. That would be a more natural move, right? Rook takes b7. Maybe now bishop b5, right? But no. Well, then he's got this. It's not over yet, though. And then we're still winning this position. It's a little hectic. Now, this all did happen because of bishop b3. It's true. All right, let's look at your move. I still believe in your position. Okay, I thought that you say, things are officially unclear to me. Yes, I'm up 3 pawns, but how well can white coordinate the pieces? Okay, it is hectic, but I very much believe in your position. The first thing I would like is a6. Because I want to shut this knight down. Yeah. It is spicy. There's no question about the spiciness of it. But because you're up these pawns, and the pawns at the moment work to shut the knight down, I like it a lot. So b4, again, kind of fast, allows this, and now I'm like, oh, I don't know. Now this one is passive. What do I want you to do? At this point, I want you to play king e7. Bring your people out. Now, I don't know about this. I was thinking that they should take this one, which would be a blunder because of rook a8. Okay, so we are kind of messing with him here. And just in general, we want to put the king here so that if and when they take, there's no retreat check. Oh, I don't like that move. All right. Notice here you play like your moves are coming pretty fast here. Okay, so you did that very fast. Now, position's interesting. I think you're playing g6 so that you can move the rook here without getting whacked. This points to really this king needing to be here. Probably your best move might even be king e7, even though it's admitting that things... Then he gets this move and he comes in here. Wow. So hold on. Hold on. So first of all, let's say here, king e7, easy chess. No need to play complicated chess. That's just easy chess, and I think we're crushing him. Bishop b7, rook b8. They don't want that. All right, rook b8. Snip. Now king e7 for sure. King d7 now makes things complicated. All right, g6. Check. King d6. d4. Reasonable thought. Notice, though, he's not threatening to take on e5 yet. Okay, question. Does b3 hurt? Remember, there's no e5. And also remember that Mama said that passed pawns must be pushed. b2 is a hell of a drug. I don't know. Things look rough. Bishop c3, b2. I guess that's forced. And let's just say, you know, we got to do a little celebration when you see it like that, right? Got to do a little celebration, right? We're looking great here. Yeah. That's very dangerous for white. Passed pawns must be pushed. Here we go. This, okay. King d3, I'm assuming. King f3. King d3 is better in the respect that the king wants to be closer to that bad boy pawn over there. Bishop c2. So now rook bc8. Right. Knight b7. King d5. And here you are. You're crushing him. Look at that. Check to the miserable king. Beautiful. Okay. That was a great game. I was happy to regain control. So let's just finish with this time graph. Got to take a little bit more time, right? A little bit more time. That was some of the most complicated stuff I've ever seen, especially when it got hectic, right? Yeah. And I like your word control. I think as you progress, the word control should come back because your opponents are going to do superficial stuff. They're going to give you tempi, and you want to maintain control. Right. Okay. Well done. And we'll go back. So we got a couple more here. The first up is, we got two more. First up is PCW. Wrath of man, violence, inheritance, wrath of man, thrive upon. Oh my God. Metallica, first graduation. Okay. I was listening to some Metallica yesterday. So, born and raised in Germany. Okay, here we go. A lot of German connections going on here. This looks great. Preliminary rating on 17 USCF OTB. All right. Let's look. So, 1235, and what's the USCF? USCF is a little struggling. Tactics is struggling. Tactics is struggling. I think it's important to recognize that you should make an effort to get this number up. Right? That number needs to get up. And you have been doing a lot of tactics, so it's not like you haven't been doing it. Clubs. Adult improver. Great. And activity. I'm just going to take a quick look at this tactics stuff. What have we got here? Winning chess tactics and the Polgar mate in twos. Okay. Good. I would definitely think, yeah, it is time to get the tactics rating up. This all looks pretty good, though. You're doing 13 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, 7. Beautiful. Okay, so you're definitely getting it done, and it shows you're graduating. Okay, let's see if we got a game from PCW. Here we go. This is Pat, and boom. Pen and paper with Jesse's advice. Okay, great. So, do we got the clocks? Oh, no. Oh, no. He says, plenty of times I could have and should have used more clock, shaking my head. Well, there it is. Now, let me just stress, we say this all the time. We say it also on the Under 1000 show. But this learning to use the clock, it's not something that I can just yell at you and then you instantly get it. It takes a little bit, right? It takes a little bit to develop. Okay, so game review. All right. Spicy. I like e5 a little better. Okay. Okay, interesting. f4, poor move, not developing. e4, fine. Stopping the knight coming from f3. Interesting. Fine. A little weird. Okay, good. Oh, spicy. Now cd5 happens. I'm not a huge fan of cd5 because it opens up his bad bishop. A move that makes a little bit more sense to me is knight a6. Aiming for either of these squares. Okay. And you were just like, I'm done. I'm done. That looks odd. a6, bishop e2. b5, knight c3. And now g6. So now you're right. You have this weird problem where you want to play bishop b7, I presume, but it's you and knight bd7, but you can't. Now, is it sad though? Yes. And so probably what we want to think about is b4, a5, knight a6, knight c5. All right, g6, h4. This person, as we see, is not thinking. They're not thinking about their business. Now, you played knight g4. I don't like it. Main reason is because it's not developing, but there's also a tactical problem. If you want to completely shut him down, you have h5. All right, so here we go. Maybe I'm wrong, actually. I might be wrong on this, actually. Maybe I might come around to knight g4. Dude plays h5 and is just missing bishop h4 entirely. So, the problem is this. If we take here, I think black can throw that move in. That'd be pretty spicy. Okay, complicated. It's not over yet. Like king f2, snippers, snoppers. It's pretty hectic. It makes me nervous. Okay. Also, though, they could really consider this bad boy with the intention of meeting bishop h4 with g3 and fe with knight bishop takes g4. The problem is really, well, your opponent isn't developing. Well, we want to take advantage of that. This h5 thing isn't moving me. He doesn't have his pieces ready. What do we want to do? Bring your guys out. Bring the dudes out, right? Okay. So knight g4, h5 is horrendous. Bishop h4, very good. Knight e4. Here he finds it, but he's losing a piece. Thank you very much, and now we're winning. Good move. Doesn't do much. Good move. All right, now you can do a lot of things. Very nice. Toast! Toast. Well done. Yeah, well done. So again, and this applies to everyone at this level, your opponents are going to give you time, tempi, in the opening, and that's where you want to kill them. That's why I created the course called Mastering Time in Chess on Chessable. I wanted it to be called Time to Do One. But it's called, the marketing people were like, no, it's going to be called Mastering Time. In any case, this, if you're in this range between 1,000 dojo, 1,600 dojo, this kind of situation where you give them, they give you time and you say, thank you very much, will come up again and again. All right, I believe we have one more, and that is Keith. Let's go check out Keith. No, we got two more. Jeez, Melise. Are you guys trying to kill me today? What's going on, man? All right, Keith is crushing it, done some tactics. And he wishes he had this in 6th grade. I do too. Did great on one tactics test. Clubs. New England and New Hampshire. Great. Here we go. And this is going to be Quies Phasmatis. Do we got time? We got a time graph. Excuse me. I'm reaching my end, my friends. I'm reaching my end. Okay. Pretty good time graph. His opponent is moving a little too fast. Typical. Here we go. Let's bring it on, he said. All right. This is a little weird, but we're doing fine. I like d5 here, but knight f6 is fine. I like bishop e7 here. A little frisky. Knight f3. d6. Okay, you're doing fine. Poor, not giving away time. You say white's got an advantage? I don't believe that. Castles, knight bd7. You're doing fine. Look at that structure. All your pieces are fine. It's poor. Developing. Again, what are they going to do? They're going to give you time to develop. Poor, not developing. We're going to bring our rook out. d5 makes a lot of sense. I don't know if I get it. And he wants to trade. Okay. Knight e5. Frisky. Okay, I like that knight e5 move, I think. He should be considering like rook fb1 here. Interesting. I'm not sure what's going on. No, I don't get it. I'm not sure I get it. f5. Okay. I like the spirit of the move f5. d5. Maybe a good move. This is now our critical position. All right, here it goes. We, unfortunately, are going to undouble all of his business now. So I don't know. g4. All right, there's a lot to think about here. After fe4, you say you like your position, and I'm just saying I don't know. It's very hot, and your own bishop is not doing great on b7. This doesn't make any sense to me. This helps you bring your coconuts in. Boom, good move. Good. f3. Now, we need to get our bishop fixed. So, right, I want you to do something with that bishop. You're not doing anything with that bishop. Notice, you're not thinking about his woes. Finally, we get something. It's a little bit unclear what we're doing. Okay. Boom. I don't know if I like that for white. And now we go into this fascinating endgame. Who is better? Interesting question. I think we want to play g5 here. I'm worried about f4. It might result in the same position. c4 makes no sense. Does nothing. The king needs to get good annotation. Absolutely. King f2 or f4. Good. Now I think he's in trouble. Yes, sir. Now g5. Yeah, interesting endgame. Now, one of the beautiful things about this position is because he's made his bishop so bad and our king is better, our pawns are all in the right color, it's probably winning. King d3, that wasn't it. He's got to try bishop c2. He cannot let you come to the f4 square. I think king f4 was better. Maybe you're just winning anyway. So here, yeah, we need a move. All right. c6. Now, notice that he is now not going to give you the opportunity anymore to play king f4. C takes. Yeah, well, the reason he's playing C takes, though, is because if he plays, he plays E takes, because if he plays C takes, you have B5, and that does look terrible for him. So imagine this position. It looks nasty for him, right? This is a beautiful outside pawn. Bishop F5, excellent move. And now he's in Zugzwang. Is he? Kraai, are you right? Maybe I wasn't right about that. No, I think I am. Yeah, he's Zugzwang. Very nice. And now we go King F4. Beautiful. That's not going to do much. Bishop B1, very nice. King E3 looks good. Okay. We're missing our chances here. But this is fine. Okay, great game. That was good annotation. Also, I think the experience of that kind of thing, it was like a very positional win. Your opponent, they gave you time. Moves like C4, right? Okay, so that was great. There was a whole phase of that game, by the way, I went kind of quickly through, though that was like, it was hard for me to understand what the players were doing.